Talking about the new album, this album Penalty by Perception, right?
Yes.
It sounds a bit more intricate and a little bit more repolished, let's say. What was the intention about recording this kind of new sound?
I really don't think we were thinking so much about to change the sound or anything like that, because we always have a formula when we go in the studio and try to do things like that. For example, I think the guitars on the new album is one of the most heavy guitar productions we have done in Artillery, you know. So, but you can always discuss what you think is good or what you not think is not so good, you know. But I'm very satisfied with the production on the new album.
Mm-hmm. And what about the songwriting? Do you think this album is more intricate comparing to the previous ones?
I think some people say it has more power metal influences in it because of the sing of the voice. Mm-hmm. But as a guitar riffing and stuff like that, I don't think it has changed so much from the early days. We still have the same influences, both Morten and me, and still make songs the kind of way, you know. So I don't think that has changed so much. But of course, the singing is maybe the most polished thing through the years. But I think it's a good match because it sounded different than many other bands because of that.
Would you say that your influences right now are the same influences as you had back in the day, in the 80s, when you started the band?
Yeah, basically, because when we started to play music, we started with bands like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, and stuff like that. And then we moved on to the 80s with bands like Accept, some punk things like GBH and stuff like that. And of course, we started in 1982 playing music, and people said at that time we sounded like a punky way of Motorhead. Mm-hmm. And then when Metallica and Slayer started to get really famous, we started to call us thrash metal. So I think also bands like Exodus, for example, has got a big impact in the band's way to write music.
And what happened to Michael, the singer? No, because in this tour, Soren is coming back to vocals for only this tour, right?
Yeah.
But what happened to Michael?
The thing with Michael was that he was just starting in a new job, and he was been promised he could get off all the time he wanted. And then suddenly they said he couldn't get off in August because he was a teacher, and they have a lot of new teams coming in to be learned off in the start. So they said we have to move the tour to September, but we couldn't move it at that point. So Søren, who did the vocals on When Dead Comes and My Blood, was willing to do this tour with us. Also, my brother is not on this tour because he had a small heart attack, so he was sick very, very long, and he just started to get back in business and can do shows, you know, at shorter time, but not longer tours. So we have Rune Gangloff with us on guitar, who also had been with us some tours ago.
So all these years since Soren left the band, you kept contact with him, right?
we was never, you know, unfriend or anything. We were still good friends and still talk sometimes each other. No hard feelings at all, because Søren at that point wanted to do some more hard rock stuff and things like that, some different kind of things. And that was okay. He told us in a good time, and we had a lot of good time to find Michael to replace him. So no problem, and we have a lot of fun here. So
how did Michael feel about this?
He said to me that he wanted Søren to do it if he couldn't do it. So he thinks it's okay, but of course he's sad about not being here. He would have done that for his what do you call it? His employer said to him that if he did this tour, he hadn't work after that. Yeah, right. So. But he's now been promised that he will never have any trouble to get off. So he will be on our US tour, and he will be on our Poland tour and stuff like that. So he will be back there.
And what do you think about, I just came up with this idea to record the song with Soren and Michael, both singers in one song. Are you up to that?
Yeah, we have thought about that. Because we played a very big festival in Denmark called Copenhagen. And Søren Jonathan stayed there and sung together with Michael in the song 10,000 Devils. So that was fun, and it worked really fine. And we did the same in Argentina with an Argentina singer, very famous one. Yeah, and that was fun. But it always give a good dynamic in the song to do that. So maybe you don't know what happened.
Among all the albums that Artillery did through 30 years career, pretty much, which one was the most challenging to record?
It's hard to say. I think maybe by inheritance, because at that time there was a lot of by inheritance. Oh, okay. Because at that point there was a lot of bad chemistry in the band, because of the former singer didn't want to tour and stuff like that. So it was maybe the hardest to do. And also when we returned, it was very difficult to do when Dead Comes, because we didn't really know what was going on in the scene. We just tried to play from the heart and do our best. And hopefully people liked that album, so that was good.
Did you have the chance to listen to the new Metallica song?
Yeah, I just listened to it today.
And what do you think about that?
I think it's promising, because I'm the kind of way, that I think Metallica has meant so much to so many people, so many bands, that I don't want to slag them off. Many people just said Metallica, And you had to remember, Metallica is still playing music. They didn't have to do it. So they still like to play music. That's most important. And I think the new song, of course there's some small things I think they could have done different, but I think in a big way this is a good song.
Mm-hmm. And did you get the chance to talk from time to time with Lars Ulrich, since he's from Denmark too?
Last time I spoke to someone from Metallica was with James Hetfield, and in 2009 when we recorded When Dead Comes, we had a release party, and he and Michael Poulsen from the band Volbeat was coming down and say hello. Mm-hmm. So I hadn't seen Lars since then, or James.
All right. And about this new Metallica single, it sounds very thrashy, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that the whole album is gonna sound like that, or maybe this is like only a single to please the fans?
It's difficult to say, but
what would you expect?
I think what I have heard of rumors, the new Metallica will be a bit like a cross between Master of Puppets and the Black Album.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, and I think that this is the only way they can go now, because what should the others do? They can do some totally different now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much too.